So what are we doing here? You know, I still don't know. We keep on keeping on. You know, the seasons change. Birds come back out and sing. Trees start to bloom. And it just keeps on going. But I mean, it really is pretty incidental that the angle of the sun's rays intercept our spinning rock. In just such a way and at just such a distance that it sustains and creates what seems to be the platform for people like us to come along as advanced pieces of technology. Lets us come along and be able to look back on it and say, hey, why does it seem that it just keeps on going? And really, there's no defined overall purpose to it. That's why I still think it's fantastic that people make these artificial bonds with themselves. You know, they get married. There's a marriage going on across the park from me right now. They make these artificial bonds based on that image in the sky, just hiding behind the cloud. They cross their hearts and hope to die. Stick a needle through my eye, lest we ever break these vows that are unbreakable in the name of those eyes peering at you from behind the clouds. You know, I mean, what else can you really do? You can get really involved in the game, get really bent out of shape, have a lot of fun, experience a lot of pleasure, experience a lot of pain, get really wrapped up in it, you know. I mean, you can pretend all you want that you're doing it for some sort of larger purpose. You know, I mean, I want to have kids, but, you know, why do I want to have kids? Is it in the name of humanity? Is it because I feel as though us as technology, we're destined to do something great a la Alex Jones, who believes that one day we'll reach the stars and one day we'll conquer the universe. I mean, no, I mean, I don't see that as really, something that's anything other than just another game that you're playing with yourself. I mean, yes, we are advancing technologically. We have advanced in that we are pieces of technology. Our sentience is advanced to a point where we feel that we've needed to branch out and create our own pieces of technology synthesized from other little bits and pieces of the rock. But I don't think any of that will ever match the absolute majesty and intelligence that we possess innately as pieces of technology ourselves. And still, it's kind of depressing to think that there's no purpose to any of this, isn't it? It's a little bit depressing to think that we're just going to keep on keeping on. We've basically reached our climax. That's a depressing notion, but I mean, if you look at it from the perspective of our society, which is absolutely bent on creating new external pieces of technology to advance our understanding of the universe, from the sense, from the perspective, it's always from the perspective of that aesthetic, that physical realm. It's always trying to look further and further with our light bodies through an apparatus out into the distances, out into the depths, into the darkness. But yeah, when we want to travel those depths, we have to bring along with us our own little version of our atmosphere, our own little means of sustenance. So I guess basically where I'm heading towards is, and I think a lot more of us are going to start to realize this, that's a dead end. Once we start to realize that what we really are, what we actually constitute, and I don't mean you and I as you, Jeffrey, and you, Samantha. I don't see you as anything different than anyone else. You are a representation, you're a node of sentience of the overall movement the gyration, I guess would be a better way to call it. Because it's not, I don't feel as though it's going in any specific direction. And that's not a statement that I'm making perched on top of my egocentric self. That's a statement that I'm making based on prior experience of me connecting back into that which is the flow, or the up and down rhythm that is a light beam, and that is an incidental ray that is hitting our rock at the prescribed distance, at the prescribed angle, at each revolution of the rock around the center. It's an incidental happening that we're experiencing right now. It's incidental. And we've been able to work with it. Well, look around you. We have the human environment and we have the natural environment. The human environment consisting of buildings, of cars, lampposts, of cement and concrete, and walls and huts and igloos. The human environment. So instead of us hurtling at exponential rate with these appendages, with these arms of silver that we fashion for ourselves, with these glasses and scopes and lenses and crafts that we make, trying to look within as well as without towards infinity. Why don't we just forget about all that shit? Just forget about it. I'm not going to go into some big diatribe of how to do it, because you can't explain how you do that. Yeah, I mean, that's been a large part of all of my recordings. All of them has been me foolishly trying to explain what is basically unexplainable. Trying to teach you how to go where you already are. But it's really important every day to try and take some time. Try to find that zone. Yeah, you're spinning around. Okay, this is something that you can take from science, and you can take from our knowledge, and it is knowledge. There's a difference between wisdom and knowledge. You can take some of that science that states that we're sitting on a big fucking rock, which is spinning around at I don't know how many thousand miles per hour in orbit, in absolute space. And every day it makes one revolution. I mean, that's pretty indisputable. I mean, the sun does seem to vacate an area over your head for a certain period of time. Time, we all know that time doesn't really exist, and then there's a certain portion relative to that when the sun is no longer vacating that space. Now, you can come up with all kinds of funny reasonings for what that really is, but as in the past, when the Greeks decided that good mythology would be that one of the gods would ride his chariot every day, holding the sun in it, and at the end of the day he would descend, passing along this river into the underworld or whatever it may be. The point is, it's really easy, it's really simple to get lost in these obviously false contrivances and images of each other, of our own projections as these pieces of technology that we are. It's really easy to get lost in those. And forget about trying to look and rely. It's really easy to do that, as opposed to not needing some type of discrete explanation or discrete mythology to have it settle in your ego's space. But you know it already, why it's happening and how it's happening, because you're the one who's doing it. You know what created you, and what created all of us, and what created all of these trees and the rocks, came out of something. The nothing that underlies the something is the groundwork for the something. I mean, you can't really have the something without the nothing. But not to get too philosophical with it, I mean, you can't be here making up these foolish notions if there isn't a sun and if there isn't an earth. I mean, it sounds cliche and it sounds like so simple, but when you really understand that, and it's not understanding in the way that you're thinking, it's not understand it with your ego, with your conscious attention. It's not understanding something, it's You see, if you know that you're doing it, then you're not doing it, I guess is a good way of putting it. So, but when it's all happening, you know, you can't, you're a part of the happening, but you're also making it happen. You see, you're a part of the involuntary. And that in itself is the voluntary. Which is why it's an up and a down. Which is why it's a nothing and a something. Which is why in the beginning of my discussion, I examined the fact that we seem to be going full throttle with these extensions of our own technology, which is us. But the happening, the occurrence of the intelligence, which allows us to create these appendages since that is part of the happening that underlies all that is. It's a dead end. The appendages are a dead end. It'll either just collapse in on itself as a node of the overall technology, or it can decide to ride along this wave, up and down and up and down and up and down. You know, I mean, maybe that's why the Indians had it right. You know, I don't think it's a difference in the technology, the genetic technology. I don't think it's a difference in the genetic technology. Because from my ego's perspective at this point and the knowledge that I've gained, I feel as though the biggest recognition of our own intelligence, and when I say our own intelligence, I mean all that is intelligence, the biggest recognition and the biggest manifestation of this intelligence is in the mold of the Indian. Is in the mold of the ancient Gaelic and Celtic tribes who simply lived off the land, went with the land and went with what the land had to provide. When I say Celtic and Gaelic, I mean you can supplant that with whatever labels you want. Because this form of intelligence is manifested in all parts of our rock. Where are you guys from?
Iraq.
Iraq?
Yeah.
Are you visiting?
No, I'm live here.
Oh yeah? When did you get here?
7 years ago.
Oh, okay.
You?
Seem like tourists, I don't know. No, I was born here. I've been living here for my whole life.
Abdul.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just doing a lecture right now. Just basically looking at how, it seems like we're making all this technology, But it's like, why are we making all this technology? Like, no, I'm single. But where are we going with it, We're making all these bombs and we're making all this stuff. What's going on? What's happening?
The Canada is not fire, not bomb, it's nothing that's really that. Yeah.
That's true.
Hey! Oh my god, there's another car, that's so cute. Hey, you gotta remember that.
So what do you guys think about Osama bin Laden? They caught Osama bin Laden.
Yeah. You like it?
I don't know. It makes no difference to me.
Yeah.
Osama, come on. He was a bad guy. Was he a bad guy? I don't know.
Is right is died or not?
I don't know.
Maybe it's not right.
Personally, I don't believe anything that the news tells me, so. Yeah, I guess I'm just saying, like, what else can you do other than really just enjoy a nice day? It's sunny.
Yeah, sunny today is very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Yeah, have a good day.
Thank you. You too. I'm gonna
And with that, the sun is gone. What would be the purpose?
That's what happened.